Okay everybody, for this month's club we're going to talk about how to use the IQ Designer for the Babylock Destiney or the My Design Center for the Dream Machine, the Brother Dream Machine, in order to create designs for your to stitch. So you can get fairly intricate designs. In fact, we took this one, which is really a pretty detailed design, and we were actually able to stitch this out, and I thought that turned out absolutely adorable. And we used variegated thread, that's why it looks light and dark, so there's some white in there. So you can see how detailed it is. It's really quite intricate. So the secret to getting a good design out of the IQ Designer and the My Design Center is to have clear, concise lines, and it's actually best to use a black and white image. They do work a little bit better. So we're going to do a little exercise today where we are going to take this little bear, and this is just copyright free design, and we're going to scan this in, and we're going to create this little bear. Okay, so I'm going to put my design, and like I said, it's best to have a clear, concise drawing. If you're not sure, you got something a little bit light, you can take it to a copier, make it a little darker, or just trace over it with a fine line Sharpie marker. So I'm just going to put the magnets on, and we're going to scan this in. Okay, now we'll go to the machine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scan it in. As you can see, I have it on the scanner. Okay, I'm going to pick My Design Center, or if you have a Babylock, it'll say IQ Designer, so I select that. You have a choice here of just scanning in a background, scanning in a line image, which actually it works the best with line images, or an illustration, which is a color photo or a color, like a color clip art. So I'm going to select line, and I want it to scan, and here I have that I can also get images directly from your jump drive, so your JPEGs can also come in here, or if you had something stored into the machine. I'm going to let it scan, so it's just going to scan it in. There we go. Scan away. Back here. Okay, and it's brought the design in, and I don't see any obvious problems with it. I've got nice black and white showing. I can take a grayscale detection in order to either read more lines or read fewer lines, but I want to crop out the green part, the little magnets, and then hit OK. Okay, so I probably want to go, you could go in and look at it, because even though that looked really clean, look what happens up here. Oh, not bigger. And see, it sees these funny little things in there. But I'm just going to leave it for that. For this, I didn't. What I did when I actually did it is I went in here, went into set. Here I had the opportunity to size and rotate it. But what I actually did in here was I went, and you can also scroll around where you want to go to.
What about copyright issues? Should we be concerned about that?
Well, yes. you shouldn't be doing anything that is a logo, and stay away from NFL, okay, Microsoft, and Disney, like they were the plague. Okay. So, however, you know, to learn, you're fine. This one happens to be copyright free. There's lots of copyright free designs on the internet. Coloring books and stuff are usually okay, as long as you aren't selling them, or you are just doing them for your own personal use to train yourself how to do something. Kids are a good source for drawing things for you. You can do a lot of refrigerator art. That's you can also take your own photographs and then trace them out. So there's lots of sources for designs. So what is it? Dover Publications has an awful lot of books, tons and tons of books and online designs that are copyright free. So some of them, if you want to read them, some of those copyrights will say you can use it for anything you like, provided you do not sell it. So you have to read the fine print a lot of times. So say if I wanted to get some of these funny little marks out, then I could use my eraser pen. And I'm going to go really tiny. Oh, I got to hit OK. Forgot. And see, now I've caused a break. So if you cause a break or something you didn't mean to do, you just hit the undo key. And when you're erasing things, do them in little short spurts. Take your pen off of the screen. Do it again if it's still good, because if you do an awful lot, say if I were erasing a lot of things, and at the very end I cross a line and go, oops, what happens then is that it deletes everything, it goes back to, and you left everything out. So I'm just going to leave this one for here for now. So I'm going to go back to regular size. Okay, I want to split this design. So what I'm going to do is take my eraser key. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to take my select key, which is this. I keep mixing these up. There is one here that shows a circle and a square, and that is your shape key. This one right here is your select key, because most everything else is a little like checkbox for a select key. So I'm going to select that, and I want to simply draw, do the one this way, come through the middle. That part is selected, and then move it. See, I've automatically moved it. Now I want to turn that background off. Or maybe go up a little higher. Draw a line. I'll make it bigger. Not that big. And draw a line from this point. Actually, right this way. There we go. I just want it to touch. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to draw another one here. And I think I had made those non-sewing lines, but I want to close in the area. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in stippling. Aha! Now it worked.
Yeah. The bottom was open, it just slid it around. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm ready to. Now I'm going to save this one. So I'm going to go preview, and I could save it if I wanted to, and then hit OK. Okay, and now we've got into the preview mode. Now what this means right here is that every time I have a black line or an outline, do I want that outline to be a satin stitch? And if I do, how wide? And I want it a little wider than that. So I'm going to maybe go to 3.0, and how dense I want that stitching. Or if I want it to be a running stitch, what the stitch length is going to be. This one's at 2, and this is if it's a triple stitch, and also the length of the stitch. I want it back to satin stitch, which is on the outside. Now this over here says I can now size it again. This is my stitch direction. Do I want it to be automatically set by the computer in the machine, or do I want to manually set the stitch direction? The density of the stitching for the fill stitch. If I want to add pull compensation, and I don't want to add pull compensation, I'm going to take that out. Do I want undersewing, which means if anything is like a fill stitch and it's any bigger than your thumbnail, then that needs to have some undersewing. This is if on the stippling, this is the run pitch or the stitch length, and I like it a little bit longer, say maybe 2.4 or 2.5. And the spacing, and I think that for this, the spacing 1/2 inch, which is 5 millimeters, is a little bit too, I want to go a little smaller, maybe 4 or maybe 4. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. It's going to regenerate the stitching, and notice now the stitching is much closer together. That the pitch on the stippling is much closer together. See? Okay, I like the way it looks, and now it's a good idea to save this design into memory. That way I can come back and work on it again if I like. That's over here. I'm not going to save it for now, but I'm going to hit set because I'm happy with the way it looks. Now it's being converted to an embroidery pattern. And if you haven't saved it and you want to come back and edit it, don't go to embroidery until you have saved it. But I'm not going to for now, so I'm going to continue to go to the embroidery screen. Now this is at my regular embroidery. Notice how we're back in sewing. So my edit screen here says that I can move, size, rotate, whatever. I'm just going to leave it like that. These are my regular sewing. I'm going to add something though. I'm going to add a frame because now we want to do the applique. I want to do a rectangle, so I'm picking up here the shape. I would like for it to do a triple stitch. Let me see. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to do it kind of rounded. I want this one, rounded corners, and it's a running stitch. So I set. It's kind of big, so I am going to hit edit and move it. First of all, I'm going to size it. So I'm going to make it wider. Here's my wider. And I want it narrower, thinner. Okay, and then I'm going to move it down so that it just covers the stitching. Oops, here we go. There, I want it to cover some of the stippling that I did before. Move it over just a tiny bit. Okay. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to put one on top of the other. And then I'm going to go to move and now put one right on top of the other. Because this is applique. And remember, applique is a 3-step process. You have 2 running stitches. One of them stitches around the background, on your background fabric. You lay your fabric over top of it. It stitches down another running stitch so that you can trim the excess fabric from around the outside. And I'm going to add another one, another frame as well, same shape, but this time I'm going to pick the satin stitch, set, and again I am going to size it. So I want to make it wider. I want it just as wide to cover that stitching that we had over here, and I'm going to make it thinner. Scoot it down. I'm going to superimpose that right on top of the others. If I'm not sure I have it there, hit your magnification. Can make it bigger and bigger, and now I can see that one of these needs to move up just a little bit. And over. See, now all 3 lines, one is covering each other. Okay, now I can also add lettering. I'm going to come down a little bit, add letters, and I'll just pick any name. I'll put here, I'm just going to write baby, B, A. Oop, too big, delete. I want to make them smaller, so I went to medium, A, B, Y, Y, and I'm going to set and scoot it down, move, oop, 2, if I can get this in the middle, heck, just move it, there we go, and see, now my design is ready. Hit embroidery, it is now ready to stitch out. And when it's done, here's what it looks like finished.